Well, hello again. It's Adaire Palmer here. Welcome to My Time TV, community TV with Adaire. Now, TV for you by TV for me. Now, this is where I talk to people in the community from all walks of life who are doing amazing things to add value to the lives of people around them. Now, this could be anything from meditation, a yoga class, learning to cook, reading tarot cards, healing, physical fitness or gardening. Whatever you're interested in, it's going to be covered here. This is an interesting, we're actually doing an extra broadcast this week because I have the opportunity to talk with a very special guest who is here in Adelaide. It is Carol Kline, and Carol is a co-author with the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. She's been an author, editor and ghostwriter for over 25 years, during which time she has co-authored, I know I've already said this, but she's co-authored a dozen books with some of the world's top transformational leaders, including Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen. That's, like I said before, the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. Marci Shimoff, I'm going to have to check the pronunciation of that, Lisa Nichols, and Gay Hendricks. So 5 of those books actually made the New York Times bestseller list. So she was inspired by her experience writing Chicken Soup for the Soul, the pet lover's soul in 1997. She actually became deeply involved in animal rescue work and helped run and build an animal shelter called Noah's Ark Animal Foundation in Fairfield, USA. She's also with Nerium. She's been a Nerium brand partner since March 2012. She is achieved rank of 1-star NMD, which I don't quite know what that means, but I'm sure we'll find out. And she now lives in California with her husband, Larry. She's actually in Australia. As I said, she is with the lovely Liz Palmer, and Liz has been on my show before. She is a Nerium brand partner herself, and Liz has got expertise in brain health and anti-aging. She is actually the Adelaide anti-aging queen, so I'm really excited to have Liz here as well. I'll bring them into the broadcast, and welcome to 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Carol and Liz. How are you both?
Hi. Hello. Nice to see you, Adaire.
Lovely to see you, and thank you so much for just popping in and allowing me this opportunity to share my space here on My Time TV live with you both. I think it's really cool. Have you both in this? This is the first time actually that I've had 3 people, but 2 in one screen and 1 in the other. We've got Theone here. Theone is also an Adelaidean, and she's saying hey. So hi Theone, and thank you for joining us. And she's saying long time no see. It's probably been a while.
Yeah, it has. So, I did go back to the United States for a little while, so I was out of Adelaide, and I've been back now for about 3 weeks. And I dragged her, actually. I didn't drag Carol, but I'm really excited to almost act like a local here, showing her around. So we're kind of dressed in outdoor clothes because we went up and cuddled some koalas this afternoon. So
did you say you went and cuddled some koalas?
Yes. Up at Cuddly. Yes.
It was so great.
Wow. That is awesome. We have koalas in our backyard here where I live, which is just over the hill from this. So
well, for those of you that are listening in the United States, it's hard for you to imagine a koala living in your backyard. And we did see a wild koala up at Morialta today, so that was exciting. But I'm very excited to have and show Carol around here to Adelaide, and this is really my adopted city now that I absolutely love. So we've had a great day, but I'm really anxious, since you've heard me before, I'm really anxious for everybody to be able to hear what Carol has to say. So we'll pass it over to her, and then I'll come back on to finish, okay?
Awesome stuff. That is awesome. Now, I have my friend Linda here. Linda has joined us all the way from Darwin, top end of Australia. That's a fair hike. Thank you, Linda, for joining us. And hang around. If you have any questions of Carol, please, or Liz, please type them in the chat, and and also share the show. Share the show. It's rather exciting to let me see if I can put the three. I think I'm still learning to drive this platform. It's the Be Live TV platform, which is great. So we can actually gives us the opportunity to have screen share and have talk show type interview arrangements, but sharing it and have the lower thirds down there, which is so cool. Carol, hello. Tell us. What apart from being dragged to Adelaide or dragged around Adelaide by Liz, I'm sure that's in a good way. What brings you here?
Well, it's a long story. I'll make it as short as I can. My success as a writer came with, wonderful perks. I was really excited. I got to learn from some of the most wonderful transformational leaders in the world, and I got to own the material so I could articulate it and make it accessible to a lot of, people who weren't familiar with that work. So when you want to write something or teach something, you have to learn it yourself very well. So my life for many, many years was interviewing people, writing their stories, working with people for delivering a delivery system. A book is a delivery system for their knowledge, the thing they want to teach. And so about 5 years ago, I live in Ojai, California, which is near Santa Barbara, and it's extremely beautiful. I hear Liz and I were talking today, and I think Adelaide, Ojai is most like Adelaide in the States, in that it's a valley, sort of in the mountains surround it, and then you have the dryness, but the Mediterranean. So I feel right at home here. I am staying right on Henley Beach right now, and that's totally different than where I live. It's gorgeous here. But I came for a business, a side gig that I do. And one of the things that I'm really finding as I travel around the world and I travel around the US is that everybody's in the same boat, that everybody wants to do more personally meaningful work, whether that's writing, whether that's running an animal shelter, whether that's spending more time with children, your parents, whether it's doing a community-based foundation or working to stop planetary, environmental destruction. There's always things people want to do, and the days I spend 9 to 5 and people are fast moving to an end. So what I'm doing here. I'm near you. Okay. Hi,
there we go.
Peony. I'm glad.
Yes, Theoni's at Henley Beach, so you might see her walking along the beach.
I'm walking the beach every morning, and I'm a dog lover, and it's the best dog beach I've ever seen. It's quite amazing.
Do you get much walking done, or do you stop and pat the dogs and talk to the people?
I stop and pet the dogs, and I throw the ball for them. Yeah, there's so many dogs, and breeds I haven't seen as much. They have a cavoodle, which I've never seen. They don't have those in the States.
Oh, really?
Cavalier, Cavalier. Now, of course, I'm a rescue person, so it kind of pains me when dogs, but people like certain breeds there.
We're having a few audio. Yeah, I think you're cutting out a little bit. I'm not quite sure. I think we might be having some issues with the bandwidth at the moment. Looks like you're okay. Yeah, now you're okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So I was saying that people want to have more meaning and purpose and have more time. And so I found myself 5 years ago presented with an opportunity to create passive leveraged residual income. And this is a concept that I learned a long time ago. I raised my children with the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Do you know that book?
Yes, definitely. Yes, we've seen Robert Kiyosaki. Yes.
Yeah, and it's a very simple one that isn't taught in schools, and people really aren't familiar with this idea of creating cash flow to underwrite what you want to do in your life. So my kids knew that. We always talked about, trying to have something that would create that meaning and purpose. Yes.
Yes, that's the only saying. Yes, we need meaning and purpose.
And so for me, it turned out to be something completely unlikely, which was that it was an anti-aging skincare company that I started using the product, and I found out there was a business. Yes, cash flow is key. So I wanted to create more cash flow, and I started doing this business on the side. And within a year, I was making as much money with my side business, which is called Nerium, which is a global business, as I was with my writing and writing coach. As a matter of fact, one of the things that you'll find if you're an aspiring writer, that the world has changed quite a bit as far as the publishing industry. And you really, really need to find a way, if you are trying to write or be a musician or dance or anything that requires a creative outlet, that it's not the same as it used to be, because we have YouTube and we have MP3s and we have ebooks and we have self-publishing.
Are you saying it's easier, it's harder, or the marketplace is more crowded?
It's easier to get your material out there. It's harder to make a living.
Okay.
I used to make a tremendous amount of money at getting royalties and advances. And publishers aren't doing that anymore, because there isn't that, you used to sell a hard copy book for $25 US and a soft cover book for $12 US. And now Kindles are $3. You just don't have the same, and self-published books you just don't get the same, the economics. The technology has disrupted the economics, the industry. So what I meant to say is that you need to have something else to support your creative habit. To expect your creativity to monetize your creativity so that you can live on that as a life, your wage, isn't going to work anymore. It was very hard to do before, and now it's almost impossible. So I tell people, look for something. Now for me, it turned out to be this Nerium business. And if you're a writer, you'll understand this. I felt like liberated, because I wasn't sitting all day. And there's a beauty in being a writer. And I wasn't writing fiction. I was writing narrative nonfiction, which is nonfiction written in the style of fiction. It has plot development and characters and a story arc, and you have to really position the real story in a way that reads as entertaining, as persuasive, as compelling as literature, as fiction. So I sat all day thinking about how to say things. And so now I have a life where I'm here in Australia working with a team of people who are doing the business with me. So it's a team effort. Writing can be a very solitary thing. You sit for hours and hours and hours just thinking, not talking. And so this has been a real joy for me. So I think that's why I'm here in Australia. I started in Sydney, love Sydney. I'm here in Adelaide, and I'm going to Brisbane and Gold Coast, and then I'll be heading back to the US.
So how long have we got you here?
I'll be here 2 weeks total. I've been here a week, and I have one more week to go. And now I'm finally getting acclimated to the time, and I'll have to go home and get reacclimated to California time. It's crazy.
So,
did you have any questions you wanted to ask me about my writing, or?
Well, I guess if there's any questions from people watching in, they're more than welcome to pop them up. I just read also that you've done some pretty some pretty big writing with, like, well, said in the bio, the blurb, that you've done with the Chicken Soup for the Soul. How did you sort of get into that, or actually even get into writing? How did that sort of occur for you? Was that something?
Well, I never started writing till I was in my 40s. I'm 60 now, and it started 25 years ago. So I guess I was 37 going into 40. And oh my gosh, I loved reading. If you are an aspiring writer, you need to read a lot, because I feel that it gave me an advantage of understanding how words land for a reader.
Yeah.
So being very attuned to what worked and what didn't work in a book, it helped me. And I met Jack Canfield because I got married, and my husband came with 2 children, and Jack Canfield is the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, and The Success Principles is his other book. But he also, before that, was a motivational speaker, and he worked a lot with self-esteem for children, learning to respect themselves and others. And I wanted to do that for my children, my stepchildren. I wanted to be the best stepmother I could be. So I took a course with Jack in 1990. I got married in 89 and went to 1990. I was blown away by Jack. And it was before he wrote the Soul. And about 2 years later, I continued to go back and work with him. I was on his facilitating staff. And at the end of that time, he came out with the book Chicken Soup for the Soul. And it was just the original. It was a collection of motivational speaker stories that would motivate people, move them. You'd get a lump in your throat, or you'd get tears, or you'd feel this exalted kind of, God's in his heaven and all's right with the world. You get goosebumps, So it was that kind of story. And he put them all together. He collected them in a book. And he said, just the way chicken soup will heal your body, these stories will heal your soul. Beautiful. That was the origin. Yeah, it was really great. And so, they were very successful. He did second bowl, cup. And then someone, my girlfriend Marci Shimoff, it's pronounced Shimoff.
Shimoff, thank you.
Okay, and she gets that a lot. She got the idea for chicken soup for the woman's soul. It would be stories geared for women. And that was the beginning of really a franchise. We drew it title, Chicken Soup for the Gardener's Soul, Chicken Soup for the Pet Lover's Soul, Chicken Soup for the Golfer's Soul, Chicken Soup for the Gardener's Soul. So it goes on and on. So all these stories are geared for different interest groups. Mm-hmm. And my friend Marci came to me and said, will you help me come up with stories for Chicken Soup for the Woman's Soul? So I am a researcher sort of by nature, and I went to the library and I looked for inspiring stories about women doing cool things. And then I found out I had a talent for writing in other people's voices. Oh. So I would interview people and write their story up for them.
Okay.
And that's how I got into Chicken Soup for the Soul. And then I was approached by the Chicken Soup for the Pet Lover's Soul because I'm an animal freak. I love animals. And so I had this idea that I should be a co-author rather than just a story editor. And I managed to do that. And that was the start of a very different life for me. I got a royalty position, the Chicken Soup for the Soul. I sold over 5 to 7 million books in the last 20 years. And that's a lot of books.
That's a lot of books.
And that led me to writing self-help books with these people. And I started with collections of stories, and then those stories became illustrations for people's points, their self-help program points. And now I'm writing a book with Gay Hendricks, who wrote The Big Leap, Conscious Breathing, Centering. He's a fabulous writer. And I'm writing a book called Conscious Luck, 8 Secrets for Intentionally Changing Your Fortunes. And it's a radical new, isn't that great? A radical new path to wealth, abundant wealth, and harmonious living. So that book will be out next year. And I'm writing it because I can, because I want to, but not because I have to. Miriam has afforded me tremendous freedom because the products are fabulous, the company's fabulous, and I get to have this wonderful global virtual business.
Yes. Yeah. Linda's saying, sounds like synchronicity has a lot to do with your own story.
I want to say that that's true. And there was one moment, and I really want to say this because I think a lot of us let windows, thank you, Linda. I like the sound of my new book too. A lot of us there was a moment where synchronicity got me to Jack, got me to Chicken Soup, and then Marci gave my name to the Pet Lover's Soul author. His name is Marty Becker. He's a veterinarian. He's a world famous. He's one of the foremost experts on the human-animal bond. But when he called me, he was calling me as an editor. He didn't want me. He had no idea that I was going to become a co-author, which was a very different, proposition. And I said to myself, I don't want to be an editor. I'm not going to do it unless I'm a co-author. And there was this moment where I said to him, there's good news and there's bad news, because I'd read 5 of the stories that he'd sent me. He sent me a whole box of stories that he collected. And I said, the stories are amazing. Anyone who's an animal lover is going to love this book. It's just going to totally, enchant them. And he said, well, what's the bad news? And I said, I'm not going to do this as an editor. I'm only going to be involved as a co-author. And he said, no way. And I said, okay. And this was the moment. I said, thank you, I'll send you back the stories. I'm not going to do it. And he went, wait. Because I was willing, I wasn't going to settle. And so the synchronicity put me in a position to stand up for myself and really create what I wanted in my life. And I think that more than anything was the basis of the trajectory that my life took after that.
That is it's probably a scary time too, to be able to stand in your own power and say, no, this is what I want to do, and this is a direction I want to take.
I needed the money. I needed the editors. I mean, it was hard to walk away from that. But they say that negotiation, the strongest position is when you're willing to walk away and trust that if that's not the thing you're going to do, something better will come along. It's not always easy. I totally get it.
I think it takes a huge amount of belief in yourself. I just want to let you know that I've just popped the link in. I think I've popped the link in here. It should show up. If people want to join us in the broadcast, if Linda would like to pop in, there should be a link down below. So and Linda's saying, synchronicity and being authentic, it is a great message. Thank you. Yeah. So I think doing that and taking that leap can open massive doors that you wouldn't imagine that would exist before. And I think that's something that is it's scary. And I know I've done that a couple of times in my own life, and it's absolutely terrifying. Even doing something like this is absolutely terrifying, but we push on because we know it's the right thing and it's where we're supposed to be. I did want to ask you about having the Linda says she's on her mobile, can't see the link. Oh, bugger. It would be lovely to have you in here, Linda, but might be in a different. I actually think what I've done is I've put the link in the broadcast that's been live leaked across to the page, so we might have to leave it for now. But I did want to ask you, Carol, when you took on this extra, in terms of options for, you were saying earlier about if you want to become a creative writer or artist or, performer, whatever you're doing, it's always good to have a sort of like a passive income, and the Nerium was what helped you to have that income. Taking the not the leap, but doing that as well as what your passion is, it becomes your passion as well. And I know I've been in network marketing companies myself. I don't know if there's a special trick that you use, or if there's something that you can do that gives you the time, because I just find that when you've got that, when you're so passionate about this, and like when I'm doing this, I'm a hypnotherapist by trade, but when I do this stuff with this just soaks up all of my energy and my time, and this is where I love to be. So doing something else, how do you find the balance there?
That's a really great question, really awesome, because it is sort of it's a $64,000 question. It's the crux of the matter. Because what I find is most people don't have enough, Stephen Covey said that most people spend their lives on the urgent and the important gets shelved, right? Yes. We spend our days putting out the fires, we react to things, and the proactive choice. And then, you come home from a hard day at work, and the idea of sitting down and being creative, either art or it's difficult. So what I say is there's a few sort of parts to the answer. The first part is that network marketing has changed because of this the movement from retail, brick and mortar stores to online shopping. It has changed a lot. So basically, you used to have to, get product, and you'd have to sell the product, and it was more of a peddler's model. Mm-hmm. And now, with the way that the internet works, you look for recommendations, you go online, you look for recommendations, you go on a website, you purchase, and then everything's sent to you and the money's taken care of. Well, this is why direct sales has changed. I don't know when you were involved with network marketing, but with a good company, you're just a referral, and you get paid for referrals. Mm-hmm. So it becomes, the way it's worked for me is, of course, if you're working at a 9-to-5 job or 8 to 6 or whatever, 8 to 4, whatever your job is, it's very draining. And to absolutely try and work and keep the momentum going on your creative project is very difficult. So to add something like a network marketing business that's just about integrating what you do. When people ask me what I do now, I say I'm a writer on sabbatical, and I work with an anti-aging care brain health company. Our company has brain health and health and wellness in the U.S. And either people will say, what's that? And then I give them information, and our company is really geared for the busy person. All the videos, everything, and then people can go to our website and purchase, and all we do is basically make recommendations. I'm not a good salesperson at all. Terrible. Because but I'm absolutely comfortable. If I like something, I can recommend it wholeheartedly and enthusiastically. So that's what it becomes. It becomes another income stream. And so for you, you're working, you're a hypnotherapist, and you love this this community you're creating with your MyTV or MeTV. And so if you had another stream of income that could help you do less hypnotherapy, which is trading your time for dollars, and you had something that was a website, global virtual, you could be sleeping, and in the US, you got a customer or a brand partner working for you. That's the way it's going to work in the future. Most people are going to have a side gig or a side hustle, as they call it. And what do you want as your side hustle? Something time consuming, or something that is much more light as far as trading time for dollars?
No, thank you. It makes perfect sense, and thank you for sharing your experience around that. I really appreciate that. I do have a question from Linda, and then we'll. Linda has. Let me just see if I can pop us back up there. Linda has asked, "What tips would you have for someone about to step off into their creative career? Her daughter is in her final year at Western Australia Academy of Performing Arts as a dancer." It sounds exciting.
It's beautiful. Congratulations to your daughter. And, for me, Miriam was the answer, but she's going to need something to allow her to go to auditions, to do her lessons, and to keep up her creative trajectory. So you need to find a side gig for her, a side hustle. So that and if it's Miriam, great. If it's something else that will work for her, because it's the cliche. You got people who are creatives waiting tables, and so they can have. And there's not much money in that. In the U.S., it's terrible. I think it's better here in Australia. But what she should do is keep her focus on her creativity. Find the best way. Does she want to apprentice? Does she want to? Is she a dancer? Is that what she said? Is she a dancer?
She said she's a dancer. Yes.
Yes. So she's got to find out the best teacher. She's got to find the best community. And she's also got to find a way for herself that will allow her the freedom to pursue her dance career. Because what happens is you get beautiful creatives who live a life of a lot of struggle, and you get them, or they lose they have to make ends meet. They get married, they have children, and their dream goes down. So I'm really saying, if it's not Miriam for you, look for a side gig. Look for something that's going to create leveraged income to free her to pursue that totally.
And Linda said, I'd hate to see her in hospitality. I think, what about things like I know they're young, but there's little, I don't know, there's apps that you can do shares and stuff like that, so you can get into the share market and things just to.
You mean like Lyft or Uber and things like that?
No, I'm saying, like there's, the traditional income streams are like your property and your shares. So, but when you're just starting out, it's if you have to wait tables for a year to get is there stuff that you sort of, how do you get from there to there? I guess if you're saying robo advisors, never heard.
I don't know what that means.
No, I don't know what that means either, Linda. Interesting.
Well, I think we're running out of time. I wanted to just make sure if anybody wanted to hear more about side gigs and creating a community, if you want to, artists have a harder time monetizing, and there's a thing called 1,000 True Fans I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. I wanted to have Liz
Okay.
give the
All right.
details.
So what we'll
Hi,
do is, oh yes, investment apps. That's what she was talking about. Well, that's what I was trying to talk about. But you actually,
you know, you have money to invest.
that's exactly right. And I just realised when I said that, which comes first, the chicken or the egg? You've got to, you know. so well, what we'll do, Linda, thank you for your questions and thank you for joining us, and also Theone and anyone else who has popped in and said hi. We've had a few pop in and out, I've noticed, while we've been talking. So Liz, I know I'm coming along tomorrow night. Can you share what's happening tomorrow night for people in Adelaide who might be interested in coming along?
Yes. So tomorrow night at La Boheme, which is at 36 Grove Street in the CBD, we are having a special event. We'll have nibbles, and Carol's going to be talking a little more extensively about really supporting that creative part of your life. And, you know, as she was talking, I think about my own daughter who's 21, and she had a very budding dancing career. I was kind of funding, and when I stopped funding it, she had to go get a job, and now she has no time to dance. And it's very sad to see a creative soul not being able to build herself. So she's really going to be talking about this new gig economy. Of course, we had tremendous success in Miriam, so we're excited to share that. But it can convert into anything. So tomorrow night, it's free of charge. We can put the, you can just sign up. I'm on the invite, and you can come and visit with us and meet Carol in person. Yeah.
I'd love to meet you.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Well, Linda is in Darwin, but we might be lucky if Theone's able to come along, or anyone else who's watching who is in the Adelaide area. What we'll do is I'll grab the link off of you, Liz, and I will pop it in the comments, or up below, or in the comments. You'll find it on this broadcast somewhere, so you can register and get more details to come along.
I'm going to share this and share the blast. And if anybody has any questions, private message me, and I can ask Carol, or I don't know if she's going to have it on her Facebook page. But she's a wealth of knowledge. She certainly has tremendous success and a lot of wisdom. So hopefully we'll see some people tomorrow night, and it's been really great to interview with you.
Thank you both for joining me. It's been a pleasure and an honour. I really look forward to meeting you IRL in real life tomorrow night, Carol, and I look forward to catching up with you again, Liz. So thank you both. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So that was Carol Kline and Liz Palmer. This is Adaire Palmer, and you're on Community TV with Adaire on mytimetv.live. Join me next week on Wednesday at 2 p.m, which is our regular time slot, for another program, and we will bring you great guests and information that will enhance and better your life. Bye for now.